Hello everyone, today we are going to be looking at links and navigation. So previously we had done this exercise using what we learned with the elements that we use to fine-tune text in HTML, and we were able to come up with this simple basic text page here. So like I said, today we're going to be looking at links and navigation. So first of all, we need to understand that the whole superpower of HTML is being able to provide links, right? Because what would be the difference between HTML and a normal Word document if you cannot link stuff? So basically that's what makes HTML different. That what makes it special. It's the fact that you can create links to other documents, links to even other parts of the same document. That's just basically what we use links for. Links are like highways that take you to another place, right? They are the connection. It's the portal between one document and another, or one part of the page and another. So links are very, very useful, right? They are one of the most used let's say elements in HTML, right? So HTML links are hyperlinks. You can click on a link and jump to another document. When you move the mouse over a link, the mouse arrow will turn into a little hand, right? So usually when you hover over a link with your mouse, it changes to a like a hand, a pointer, right? So we can create a link in HTML using the A tag, right? We use the A tag, this is it here, to create a link in HTML. So how do we create a link? So let's go ahead and find out. So let's try it out. So let me create a new file here. Select HTML. So let's call it So how we create links is using the A tag, and the A tag is a tag that has both opening and closing tags. So if I write it here, it has both opening and closing tags. And we specify where the link takes us to using an attribute called href, right? So what href does is that it lets you impute the destination of the link. So let's say there's a button, and when I click this button, it takes me to a specific page. So what you specify in href is where you want the link to take you to. when you click on it. So let's say here I want it to take me to lists.html, right? Then you come to the middle of the opening and closing tag. Now what do you put here? What you put here is what you want to be displayed, what you want to be clickable, right? Don't forget href is an attribute, and we always put our attributes in the opening tag, right? So now that we've done the attributes, if we save this up in the browser, we'll notice that there is nothing clickable here. So let me just go ahead and demonstrate that. If I save this, link and save. Then open this. We can see that we have a text here, take us to the previous exercise, right? But there's nothing we can click, right? It's just text. It's just plain text. So how do we change that? How do we make something clickable, right? And don't forget, we've already put our link. As you can see it, you can see the link here. This is the link. So how do we make the text clickable? It's very simple. All we have to do is to take the contents that I want to be clickable and put it inside the A element, right? In between the opening and closing tags. We save that, then sorry. Okay, too much space. So if we come back here and refresh, great, you see we have our link. And how do we know it's a link? Because number one, the color changes to blue. Number two, it is underlined. Number three, when you hover over it, the cursor changes to a pointer. That's what we call it. Changes to a pointer. If I hover over this exercise there, it is not a pointer and all the other things. But once it's a link and I hover over it, it changes to a pointer. The color is blue and it is underlined. Now if I click on this link, it takes me to the list.html. See it? Lists. This is the list we had worked on previously. So how do we go back? We just click on this back arrow. And now that we've visited the link, you can see that it changes to purple, meaning this link has been clicked, that has been visited, right? And when we click on it, if you notice that very quickly, it changes to red. That means if we have clicked on it, right? This is the default behavior for links in HTML. Of course, you can always change it with your style, which is what we look at in CSS, but for now, this is the default behavior. So when you click on it, it changes to red. Then you come here. So that's basically how we create basic links, right? But of course, there are other types of links too in HTML. So let's go ahead and look at that. This is just the basic way. So now what we did is we created a link to a file in the same folder. If you can see here, this is the links document that we're working on, and inside the same folder there is a list document. So all I had to do was write the name of the one we wanted to take us to. That was the list, and I don't need to specify any other thing because they are in the same folder, right? So we checked the same folder and found list.html and it took us there. So let's say now you want to create a link to an external website, for example, Google, blah blah blah. It's very easy to. All we have to do is to specify the URL. So let me go ahead and this should take you website, right? Okay. So we specify the link the same way. We use our a tag, with the href. And let me just use the most famous one, right? HTTPS. So everyone should be able to access this. Right, so I just put Google in there. That was Google's link. So let's not forget the text that will be displayed as the link. So let's cut this one here and put it here. So save this, go to your file and refresh. Great, now we see another link. It should take you to an external website, and I'm not connected to the internet at the moment, but if I click on it, if you can see here the address bar, it takes me to Google. If I had data, it would have loaded Google up, but yeah, I'm not really connected to the internet at the moment, right? Because a lot of things might be distracting the class if I do, so I like to not connect while I record the videos. So that's basically how external websites work, external links rather. So you see, you cannot just only link to documents that are in the same folder like we have here. You can also link to external websites. Okay, so let's go back. Then, okay, I've already talked about this. Link colors. By default, the link will appear like this in our browser. That's this blue right here, this blue with underlined text. An unvisited link is underlined and blue. A visited link is underlined and purple. An active link is underlined and red. You can change the default colors by using CSS, right? Then we also have another type of link, which is a link to send an email. Using the mail to link, it will allow you to send an email. The mail to link is written in the same format as a hyperlink, except you use mail to in place of the HTTP, and your email address in place of the page address or URL. So basically, let's say you want a link where someone can easily click to email you. You want to add that to your website. What they are basically saying is that there's a way to do it, and we use the let me just say click here to email me, right? So put our link here, like spacing things out so it's clear to you. So new to, right? So you can just provide any email you want it to mail to. Basically, that's how it works. The only difference is with the hyperlink, you use HTTPS. With the email, you use mail too. Although I'm not connected to the internet, so it might not take us anywhere for now. I don't know if we should still go ahead and try it. Okay, let me just write it down so that it's very easy to do. Let me just write my email here. That's basically it, right? It's very easy to do. So you can just try it out. Change this to your email. Write mail to, then the colon, then your email. That's basically what it should look like. And let's take this from here. Put it here. So if we save that and we go to our, and we'll refresh it. See, we have the link here. Click here to email me. So if you click on it, it's supposed to, see, it's already asking me how I want to open this. If I use, let's say Outlook now, then to probably, but I don't want to go through all that stress, right? To open it, to try opening in a new mail. So that's basically how it works. Just try it out on your end. You see how it works. So let's go and And also don't forget, when creating links, you don't put space inside the href, right? If you look from here to here, there's no space. In fact, from the href to the end, don't put any space, right? It's not necessary. Just so that you don't have any issues with your links. Don't put any space in between your links. Maybe in between HTTP or in between the mail to. Don't put any space, right? So going back to the document on this, then we have create a bookmark, right? So HTML bookmarks are used to allow readers to jump to specific parts of the web page. Bookmarks can be useful if your web page is very long. To make a bookmark, you must first create the bookmark, then add a link to it. When the link is clicked, the page will scroll to the location with the bookmark. So first create a bookmark with the ID attributes, right? So what they're basically saying is that just give a specific location a bookmark, right? So let's use this exercise 3 because it's like the longest that we have. So let me just give it an ID. Let's just say it's ingredients. Let me just say IGD. I don't want something long, so I just give it an ID of IGD. That's short form for ingredient, or I can say ING. Probably that will be easier to follow along. ING, right? So now we've given this H2 an ID. Let's do the same for this instructor. So say ID INS, right? So they all have IDs now. Now the next thing for us to do is to add a link to the bookmark, like a link that will take you there from within the same page. And it's very easy to do. All we need to do is specify the ID as the link. So let's add that. Let me say ingredients. So all I have to do now is specify the ID here. And how do we specify IDs? We specify IDs using hashtag, right? So I created an ID here and I want to call it somewhere else. I use the hashtag and the name of the ID. So this is ING, right? So that is basically how it works. So let's copy this, paste it here, and change that to instructors or instructions rather. Instructions. Capital letter. Then we'll change the ID to INS. You save that. So let's go ahead and open it up. Okay, should be open in my browser. Exercise 3. And reload the page. As you can see, something wrong. I forgot to put the links inside the link element. So just put that here. Save it, reload, great. So now it looks like our links are working. So if you click on it, you see it takes, I think this page is not long enough, so we will not see it. So let me just quickly add some text. 5 paragraphs. Let's copy this. Paste this here. Let's save it. Come back here, refresh. Great. So now if I great, it works. So we usually use this when there's a lot of content and you don't want the user to keep scrolling and scrolling. It's easy for you to just jump from one part of the page to another. So you can simply just click here and it takes you. In fact, I did something like this on my own portfolio website. Let me show you how it looks. So let's say I want to go to the about section without scrolling there. I can just click here and it takes me there, or the projects or the services or contact. So that's how it works. Go back home. So these were all created using a link, of course. So now that if you see something not like this on the site, you know simply what they did was give this part of the page an ID, then created a link that takes you to that ID. So that's basically what it looks like. So let me remove this text. Don't want to anymore. I'm done using. No, I don't want to purchase. Thank you. So yeah, back to our exercise. Yeah. So if I refresh this now, it should be gone. Perfect. So we know how to create bookmarks now. Let's go. So now we are supposed to do this example. Example 4. Adding links between pages. Open the following web page for a cafe and make edits or changes to it. Use the file provided. So we're supposed to create this home, menu, recipes, contact. So I'll just create this real fast so we can practicalize the links that we just linked. So let's go ahead and start creating it. Okay, let me zoom in so you can see what we are trying to do. It's just this example here, example 4. So you can go ahead and start trying it. You don't have to wait for me. Maybe when you are done, then we'll compare it. So first of all, create a new file. Okay. Specify it as HTML first. Great. So now we can start. So we call this example 4. Okay. Then we have a H1, right? Okay. I'd say it's example cafe, so just type that out. Then we have 3. Okay, we have the menu, right? So I'll just go ahead and write home, we have menu, we have recipes, and we have contact. So what we are going to do, right, is to make sure that these links, we'll use them to talk about the 4 different types of linking that we talked about today. We use them to practicalize it. So we'll do a link to a file in the same folder. We'll do a link to an external website. Then we'll do a link to send an email. Then what other link can we do? We'll do a bookmark, right? We'll do a bookmark. So the first one will be a link to let's say the bookmark. Let's use the first one for the bookmark. So let me just come here and say don't worry if it looks confusing, it's all going to make sense very soon. So okay. I want it to be href to let's say ID. I've not created the ID yet, so it will not work. But I like to go in a straight flow, so I don't have to come back up and start doing all this. So feel free to do it however you feel to be easier for you. Right, it's all about getting it done, like I say. And we have another link here. This one should take us to a page in the same. It take us to a page or a document in the same folder, right? So let me use the last exercise we worked on here. Exercise 3.html. That's for the second, that's menu. So cut this, put it here. Right, then we have, let's do an external website for this one. So say A, then HTTPS, ever reliable Google. Right, so that should take you to Google when you click on it. Then the last one should be a contact. So specify href, and we have mail to, then any email you want it to mail to. So I'll just put mine here. Gmail.com. So grab this and put it here. So as you can see, we have, okay, let me make this more readable. We have 4 different links, 4 different types of links. We have a bookmark, we have a link to a document in the same folder, we have a link to an external website, and we have a link to send an email, just so that we touch every type of link that we talked about today. And don't forget, I told you A tags, or the A element, is an inline element, right? It doesn't take up all the space. So immediately after home, you will see menu. Immediately after menu, you see recipe. Immediately after recipe, you see contact, right? So now we are done with that. Next, we have a community serving home cooked, locally sourced organic food. Why does this sound like something we have written before? Yeah. So I'm just one of those lazy developers. I'll rather copy it from here. Thank you. Then paste it here. So I'll just generate 3 random paragraphs using my lorem ipsum generator to avoid the stress of typing it all out. New lines, give me just 3 lines. So copy this onto C, and RAP onto V. No, there's an easier way to do this. You can also use the break tag, put all of them in the same paragraph, then use the break tags to make them come down. Any way you choose to do it is fine. So we now have 3 paragraphs, then we have this weekend special branch. Okay, that's another heading. Weekend special branch, and then we have paragraph. Let's just use 1 paragraph. Stop here. Alright, so now we have to create this ID called content here. So create a heading, call it more content, and I'll give it the ID. Trying to go as slow as possible so you can all follow along. So as you can see here, I've created the ID called content, and it is the exact same name with the one here called content, right? So let's just add some paragraphs so that it will be obvious when we scroll there. Yeah, so just copy this, paste it here, then so copy this right now, let's copy this and paste it here. Right, so let's save this up so that we can look at it in our browser. We have save. So let's check everything to make sure it's correct. We have a bookmark here, we have the file here, we have the website here, and we have the email here. Right, so this should work. So I've saved this, then we open this in our browser. Let's just find the case it here, open it. Great, perfect. As you can see, we have 4 menu items, right? Home, menu, recipes, contact. So if I click on home, it should take me to more content. Let me reduce the screen size so it is obvious that we are moving. Perfect. So now if that was a mistake. Now if we click on home, takes us to more content, right? You can see it, click on it, it takes us to more content because we've specified. If you even check the link, you'll see it here, hashtag content, right? That's where it's taking us to whenever I click on the link. And if we click on menu, it takes us to the other page, the example 4 cafe recipes, right? So click on menu, it takes us to the page. And the reason why it can do this is because you put them in the same folder, right? So when you go back, click on menu, see, everything works. And these ones you need internet to confirm, but you can see here that it's Google. And if I click here, it asks me which app to use, but I don't want to go through all that. So you can just try it out on your end. Let me know if you have any difficulty. Alright, this is basic introduction to links, right? Links and navigation. I don't think there's anything here that should be too confusing. The reason why these links are still blue is because, of course, we have not opened the specified page because I'm not connected to the internet. So if you click on it, it doesn't open. Right, that's why the color still remains blue. It hasn't registered that the user has opened this link. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have any question, you feel free to reach out to me on WhatsApp. I'll respond to you promptly. Then in our next class, we'll be talking about tables. Right, so do well to look into that beforehand so that we can just have a very smooth sailing process. Thank you very much, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.